Hello, fellow Bills fans. Sean Rogers, Realtor and lead of the Mr. Rogers Homes team. Did you know that real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth? And right now is one of the best times to own an investment property in Arizona? Please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions so we can take the next step to your financial freedom here in the Valley of the Sun, utilizing real estate. As always, God bless America and go Buffalo!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. This is Tailgate Talk. My name is Mike. I am your host. I have my partner right over here, Tommy. What's going on, Tommy?
What up, Mikey? Are you ready, man? One more day, one and a half more days till real Buffalo Bills football. Not what we saw last week. This Buffalo Bills football.
gotta get this bad taste out of my mouth, man. I was telling you before we went live, I was struggling Sunday to watch any more football. I didn't watch much of the content up until about 2 days ago. I was dejected. Last week on the stream, I was saying I knew Pittsburgh was gonna be tough, but we were just sloppy. We were just so sloppy.
Yeah, and I should have known better. I should have known better. Pittsburgh comes to play, like you said, and I really did say that before that. Mike Tomlin usually gets his team ready. Like they're not going to just lay down for anyone. Even though you're favored, whatever. But yeah, bro, they brung it. We did not. I felt like that game was honestly flat the whole time for us. Like even me watching, I just seemed like I wasn't into it because maybe they weren't. I don't know. I felt like they came out the gates so flat, bro. Like it was weird. Like the kickoff, I'm like, okay. And then after that, it was just like, you know what I mean? Like we fell off a cliff, man. Like we couldn't get a first down. I mean, so much to talk about, brother. So much to talk about.
Oh, God. So much to talk about. But let's quickly look over in the chat. We have Rick Rarick in the house. We have John Vernon in the house. We have Buffalo News in the house. Welcome all. Hopefully I got my internet issues all fixed up. I spent a lot of time this week with Comcast. So let's see if it's truly an internet thing or if it was because if it does it again this week, then that means I'm just gonna have to get a new laptop and it is what it is. But hopefully we won't have any of those problems. We're gonna go ahead and kick this bad boy off, and we're gonna do the recap. We'll put our final thoughts on week 1, and I don't want to spend too much time because it's just gonna make me angry again. And then we'll switch into week 2, and we'll discuss the Dolphins Bills matchup. But I want to start with the coaches. I was disappointed. And I know you have a thing that you're going to go into about Daboll. I was very disappointed in the way McDermott ran the game. Daboll got a little too cute on his 4th and 1s and trick plays, but I think I was more disappointed in the game plan to where we didn't make adjustments. I get that we have a game plan. The players have to execute. Totally understand that. And I've seen a lot of that on social media this week and Twitter. Stop blaming the game plan. Players have to execute. That's fine. But when you have 4 of your 5 offensive linemen getting their ass whipped every play, maybe it's time to put a back or a tight end in there to help, because it's no longer just an execution thing to where they can't do it. They need some assistance. You need to make that adjustment, and it was never made all game long.
Right.
But I will give you the floor to have your your piece on the coaches.
Where to begin? Okay. So as many of you guys know me, if you do, well, you don't, now you do. I never been a Daboll guy, okay? Listen, I think he's gotten better with us for sure. I think he should have gotten better since this is his, 4th season with us, 5th season, right? As an OC. But my biggest problem with Dable is in-game adjustments. Since he's been the OC of the Buffalo Bills, what has been the major problem with us? Always coming out of the second half flat. Always. Last season was the first time that I can honestly say I sat back and go, wow, okay. I think he got that fixed. I think he's correcting things at halftime. I mean, I think he's changing up a little bit in-game adjustments. I saw that he's getting better with that. But this past game, it was right back to the same old 2018, 2019 Dable. That's one that I don't think he can fix. I hope he does, but that's a major problem I have with him. Two, I felt like how that game was going to go was kind of like the Green Bay preseason 3 game, where they were going to have Josh Allen get in a rhythm, which would make sense. So you kind of get the ball out of his hands quick, 3 yards, 4 yards, 5-yard passes, and then you start hitting up the big chunks. Once he gets in a rhythm, I kind of feel like Josh needs that sometimes, because Josh he's not always a fast starter. He starts to heat up. We all know that, right? Mm-hmm. So especially in this game, you saw that he was kind of struggling with some short passes. He was either overthrowing or underthrowing. You saw a lot of balls hit the dirt. Bro, start changing things up. Get him in a rhythm. Get him going. But he never did that. He never got Singletary running the ball. He threw it a million times, which, listen, I know we're a passing team. I don't even care about that. But if it's not going right, that's where it's Dable's responsibility as an OC to go, okay, look, this is not working. We got to switch something up. We got to do something different. And when he finally did that in the fourth quarter, it was too late. He started running Singletary a lot more. But by then it was game over. Okay, so that was my major problem. Then I felt like he got way too cute on plays that should have been so easy for us to make. Come on, man. You're going to run Josh Allen on a quarterback draw over and over and over again, but you're not going to do it on a 4th and 1 when you know he can probably get that 4th down. It's a yard. Come on, man. But you're going to continue to run him on fucking 2nd down and 10 quarterback draws when they're stuffing it every time. And he fumbled. We got away with one where he fumbled the ball, and they didn't call it a fumble, which he clearly fumbled. He fumbled against J.J. Watt when he wasn't seeing. I mean, there was so much. Stop running him like that. It wasn't working. They knew it was coming. That's another one problem. I can't stand when he keeps doing that. And like I said, just not mixing up the plays, running plays when the passing just wasn't working. And then the cutesy plays, which I'm like, stop it already. And then also, I got to blame McDermott too. Listen, you're the head coach. 4th and 2, 4th and 1, fine. I get it. The 4th and 3, by the way, that fans were pissed about and we punted, that was fine for me. I thought that was that's a no-brainer. You punt it there, you pin him in the red zone, fine. But my God, 4th and 1, you're doing some stupid play, and then you're going to go for it on 4th and 8 and a stupid play call. And by the way, that's on Allen too. Why throw it in triple coverage in the middle of the field? You needed 8 yards. If you're going to go for it, run a smarter play than that. Come on, man. Was that his only read? There's no way. And if that was, then fuck, terrible call. But that's my rant. I'm sorry. I really hope
that's fine.
I hope this week he gets Allen more into a groove, and I truly believe they will. I think that you're going to see Allen getting rid of the ball a little bit quicker, kind of like how Big Ben was doing, which was just really dinking Dunkins and then going for a couple deep shots down the field. Once Allen warms up, bro, we're in good shape. But man, I felt like Allen was really, truly never in a groove in that game, and he just kept fucking calling some bullshit plays for him over and over and over. And I didn't feel good the whole game, man, to be honest with you. Right when we got that when McKenzie returned it right away, I felt like once we couldn't get that first down, it was kind of like something, it just didn't feel, something was wrong, man. I just felt it. And I didn't see is it me or the team just kind of felt down, right? Nobody was really up. We weren't hype. It just seemed like we were just whatever out there. Mm-hmm. I hope they learned a lot from this game.
I think they did. That's been the MO of the Bills under McDermott. They'll take a lesson, and they apply it the next week. And I think this is a great chat from John, that talks about, the Steelers only needed 4 to get to Josh, and they could drop the rest of them, and that clogged a lot of lanes. What I didn't understand when they were doing that, why did we continue into empty sets when they were dropping that many, and we were running these empty sets, and they were looking for big plays when there was that much coverage. What happened to bringing the back in? Run a screen. We ran one screen all freaking day, and Josh threw it in the door.
Right.
One.
And then, like you mentioned, why would you bench Moss, like give him a healthy scratch, put Breida in, who's supposedly our speedster, which he is, and then not use him at all? Like, we used no screen passes for him. We did nothing with Breida. He got 4 yards on 4 carries. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, why would you even? I would have much preferred Moss then. If that's what you're gonna use Breida for, then put Breida on the fucking bench. I don't need Breida. Give me Moss and because Moss would have been perfect for that game if they would have ran some. Because he's a bulldozer. Yeah. He would have tired out that defensive line. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's how we should have played it. But no, you have Breida play, but you don't do nothing with him. So that made zero sense. Why Breida's out there? I don't get it. I didn't. So we'll see what happens this week against the Dolphins in that case.
I like what Rick Rarick says here on that 4th and 1. What happened to using Gilliam? We showed it all preseason, and he was 100%. Why not use our fullback? If he's not going to be used, why is he on the team? Why is he taking up a roster spot? There's another one in here for you.
Yeah.
So here we go. We got another one. This one's from Jose. He says, Tommy, here's my rant. 37 years of loving this team. I feel like, let's look at the last 3 games. Ravens, Chiefs, Steelers. Yeah. It hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been pretty.
Yeah. Is that, and that dates back to me. Now, listen, I get you got to hold the players accountable too. Like, I get that. Like, players have to do their job as well. But it's the OC's responsibility to put him in a good situation. I felt like the playoffs, Dable went back to like this safe offense. Like, he went total opposite, like what worked that whole season. And he played the safe, which wasn't our style, because our defense is not the defense of this year. It just wasn't. We needed to score points. So put the gas pedal to the metal like we were doing all season, and let's go tit for tat, right? And he stopped doing that. Like, he played, I don't know what the hell he was calling in the playoffs. And in this game, it was just like he just told Josh to go out there and play backyard football. I mean, that's what it seemed like. I didn't see anything that was like a normal kind of play, like nothing. I just saw him winging the ball, like nothing, bro. Run the ball, Josh. quarterback draw. Like, dude, come on, man.
Here's another one.
Crazy, bro.
Here's another one for us. It says Breida was just insurance in case McKenzie got injured and couldn't play. It was because the numbers, and Moss was the odd man out. And then he comes back and says, Juan comes back and says he feels like it's going to be this way again this week. I don't believe it. I was listening to McDermott. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you could have. I don't believe that, because you could have Hyde returning punts.
Mm-hmm. Well, they talked about it a little bit last week on the broadcast, how the backup was Breida. I don't think it should be Breida, and I can't wait for Stevenson to get back, because then he could back up. But the inactivity of Moss last week, making him inactive, had to. McDermott came out and talked about it today or yesterday. I can't remember which one. It's all running together for me now. But he came out and said that it had to do more with the injury in the preseason than it did. So, like, we have a couple people, and we'll get into the injury reports. We have a couple people who were limited. Chances are they're not going to play this week, because McDermott said early in the year, if you have injuries, they would rather be, precautious, and wait and err on the side of caution.
Yeah, I think
it's just one of those.
I think he's learning real quick that you can be super fast, but kick returning and punt returning is not fun. They do lay hits on you, like it's not fun. And he's already getting banged up. I mean, he got banged up in practice, right? When I think Poyer hit his shoulder, and now he hurt I think it was his other shoulder in this game. So I don't even know how long he can last doing this. To be real with you, man, like
he banged up his shoulder calling for a fair catch.
But I think he banged it on the return initially when he got tackled, like how he fell, and I don't think he realized it at the time. And then when he, I guess, went to call fair catch, like, I guess maybe it triggered it. Maybe you know how that is, adrenaline. Because remember, Marquez Stevenson rolled his ankle, right? And then I don't even think he realized it. And then he had a great kick return. And then when the adrenaline wore off, you saw him like, right? He felt it. And nothing happened that play. He just returned a kick out for a touchdown. So maybe adrenaline, sometimes these guys don't feel it right away. And but hopefully he'll be all right, because we do need him. We do. Definitely do.
Yeah. I like what Spin says here. And, I'm not giving Josh a pass because, he didn't have the best games. He had an average game at best.
Yeah.
He was looking to go downfield. He said it in the press conference after the game. He didn't do a good enough job of checking down. He was chasing the dragon basically. I really think after he missed Sanders deep, he was chasing the dragon, trying to get a big play to make up for it. Mm-hmm. And it just wasn't there. They were playing Pittsburgh had the perfect game plan and executed it perfkly.
Right.
And there's nothing you can do about that. Josh didn't make adjustments and check down. Also, we had 7 drops from
we had a lot. We did. Yeah, but like I said, once, but isn't that the OC's job to kind of get him in a better, get him more in a rhythm? Like I said in the beginning, like for instance, the 3rd and 1 or was it 3rd and 2 and he flea flicker. You're telling me Josh couldn't hit like a button hook to Beasley? Or like Gabe Davis going to do a little cross route. I mean, for a first down there. I mean, I would have much rather see that. Do that, bro. Pittsburgh's not they got a smart coach. Like, they're not biting on that bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do that shit when we're in a rhythm. And who cares at that point? We're up, we're scoring. Who cares? We don't get that on that 3rd and 2. We're already up. Fine. Like, I would have accepted that way more if we were up, let's say, 14-3 at that point. I would have been like, okay, you know what? We tried. Okay, cool. But we weren't. It was super close. Why play around at that point? That's why it pissed me off in that 4th down too. Like, dude, now is not the time, man. Get the first down. Let's get points on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
by the way, that field goal, the 4th and 8 was a makeable field goal, right?
It was.
Let's say we go for that field goal, we make it. Then that last drive we're doing at the end there is for the tie and possibly overtime. Instead, that was it. Game over. Because we failed to go for the field goal. Why? That's why you got Tyler Bass. Dude could kick 55, 60 yards all day. You don't go for it? I don't get it. The coaching was bad. It was bad.
The coaching was bad. The offensive line was hideous.
Oh,
we had multiple holding calls. I mean, it was Swiss cheese. Feliciano was by far the worst lineman out on the field. And
Dion was
Hayward made him look bad.
Hayward made him look too
bad. Like,
no, he did. He did.
I saw a little bit of the cover one videos that they chopped up, and it looked like he was just going through the motions, like it was a walkthrough, where he fires off and he puts his hand up and he doesn't do anything after that. And then Dawkins just wasn't Dawkins.
Wasn't him.
Williams
that wasn't.
Morris and Ford looked good. Like, they brought in Bacher for 10 plays and he gave up, he had a holding call and gave up a couple pressures and they yanked him out and never put him back in.
Yeah.
Like,
Mitch Morris didn't look that good either. Holding call.
Mitch Morris actually had a pretty good game.
He did okay. I think the whole line really failed. I think once they watch that tape over, they better play because they have to be mad at themselves. That was a piss poor performance. Like, I know the run blocking isn't the best. I got that. I knew that going into the season. It's the same offensive line. But the pass blocking was horrendous. And the pass blocking last season was pretty good. Yes, the last week's game was god-awful. I mean, Deion Dawkins should have been called for a couple holding calls, and he didn't. So I don't know what he was talking about because he tweeted out something about the refs were really calling a lot of holding penalties. Dude, you were holding. You got caught.
They were calling it one way. They weren't calling it both ways.
It was very obvious with Dion. He was throwing him to the ground holding. I mean,
no. I'm not saying the Bills weren't holding. I'm just saying the refs only threw the flag. It was one way. Like the Trey White defensive holding before his interception wasn't even holding. The receiver slipped.
That
but
was
then
bad.
You go back to the throw into the end zone, and the corner hooked the guy and turned him, and he got knocked down at the end of the game. But there was no flag. So I mean, it was give and take, and it was that way all day. It was very one-sided, and I'm not going to put that on the refs because the Bills were sloppy, but the refs did them zero favors.
No, we had a lot more penalties. That's for sure. I don't know what the overall was, but I'm sure it was a lot more penalty yards for the Buffalo Bills. But it didn't matter. That's not why we lost the game. We lost the game because we got out coached. Number one, the offensive line did a piss poor job. Number two, and I feel like Josh never really got into a rhythm, and I just felt like the whole team kind of was flat. I almost feel like when Josh plays good, and he's like in a rhythm and hyped up, the rest of the team like follows him. Like they get hyped up, they get into it, they get motivated. I felt like the whole team was just flat on the sidelines, man. It just felt like it was just a grind, but nobody was really. I don't know, man. It's sad. I gotta say,
defense. It wasn't on defense. Defense
no,
came to
man.
play. That defense looked like
no.
Defense.
The defense, yes, but I will say this about the defense, and I know maybe some people won't agree with me. I thought they played really, really good up until when it counted the most, and then I felt like they didn't step up when it counted the most because we did need stops at the end there, and they didn't. And Ben made some good plays, and they went down and scored. When we needed them, they didn't make the biggest stop, which was at the end of the game. And I'm not saying they did a bad job because I graded them like a B. They really, truly only held them 16 points, something like that, right?
They did
their job for the most part.
But at the same time, they gave up 16 points, and the offense gave them a short field a couple times.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Turnover on Josh when he got fumbled. This terrible fourth down call.
I mean, you can't fault the D on that one. And I will say, I disagree with you a little bit on the end where they didn't step up. I think they, as much as they had to be on the field, I think they did fantastic jobs of keeping them out of the end zone. And their one touchdown was a fantastic catch by Johnson.
That was a great
catch. Levi tipped that, and it happened to go right to him. I mean,
but that's on Levi again, though. That's on Levi giving up too much space, by the way.
Levi got his hand on the ball.
I know, but
and it just happened to go right to him.
That's Levi's ticker, though. I mean, he's not. He gets beat a lot, bro, and he tries to catch up and do that, and it's like sometimes it works for him where he could tip the ball at the last second, and sometimes it doesn't. Look at the pass interference call when he didn't put his head around. That was a big play in the game.
That was a crap call there too because he didn't.
That was a good call.
Crap. That was not a good call.
You got to turn your head.
You have to turn your head around if you make contact. He didn't make contact.
I see. I disagree. I would have called that all day. If that was Josh throwing and they didn't call that, I'd be pissed.
They didn't call that. There was tons of times that they did the same thing and there was no call.
That was pretty obvious.
I know you. To me, I called
that.
Red. You were so mad that you didn't see it. But I'm telling you, go back and rewatch that game. A lot of what we got called defensively,
I don't want to again.
They did, and they didn't get called for it, and that's where I had my biggest issue.
I hear you.
And let's be perfectly honest. Our defensive ends were murdering their offensive line, and they were getting tackled, and there was no calls.
No, yeah, I was. We only had 2 sacks, I think. Addison had a nice strip fumble. I don't think we recovered, but that was an awesome play. I did expect more sacks. I will say this, but maybe like you said, I watched the game twice. I guess I'll have to rewatch it again if I want to. I don't know if I can go through that.
I'm not rewatching. Listen, it's in the books.
But I'll believe you. I guess I'll believe you.
The last thing I have was this horrible special teams play that really
That was
lost
it.
us the game. At the end of the, you can't.
Uh,
I mean, if you go back and look at the last year's Bills Steelers game, there was one big play. The Bills got the pick six. The Steelers got the
it
block
turned it
punt.
around.
And that was the big key of the game. It was
Let
no
the air
different.
right up.
Yep. It was the same way that we've been seeing the Bills and the Steelers, boxing back and forth, and one big play. And this time it was our punter double clutching. And our I don't know what our blockers were doing. They let someone come right up the gut.
It was that kind, bro. It was like
that type of day.
It was meant to be, right? Like that's how the game was going. Like you knew, if I was at the stadium, I would expect something fucking like stupid like that to happen, just because how the game was going. I know they were feeling that there. I know Bills Mafia. We've been down that road many of times where games have slipped away, or you know what I mean. But a packed house, 70,000. I just felt like, listen, I don't mind losing. I do mind it, but I understand it's going to happen. But it's like the Chiefs game in the playoffs was heartbreaking. This was just disappointing because I really felt like we were a better team. Okay, I know Pittsburgh has a good defense, but let's hold the brakes a little bit. It is week one. They played well against us. That doesn't mean that they're the almighty number one defense in the league. Let's see, because I think our defense is if you look at the stats, our defense was better. They just had turnovers, and those were key. Those were huge. They had we never had
opportunities.
Right.
We had 3 opportunities. The Trey Pitt got called back for a defensive holding. Phantom defensive holding, and then the tip pass that Edmonds couldn't get to, and then the sack fumble that Addison had that we didn't recover. So we had, and Poyer came out and said, it was either Poyer or Hyde came out and said after, why didn't we win? It's because we didn't get any of the turnovers. They got them all.
That was the key. But, look at the stats. Yep. We should have won. If you don't even know the score, you just look at the overall stats of everything. You'd be like, bro, the Bills probably crushed them. They probably beat them by 13 points or something. No, it wasn't like that at all. So yeah, man, let's move on from that garbage ass performance and learn from that. And I hope and I know our players will, because maybe this was a good thing, Mikey. Maybe us losing, just like the Arizona game, right, is a gut check, right? Okay, time to look yourself in the mirror. Let's fucking correct this thing. What can we do to get better? Offensive line, Dion. If you're not 100%, dude, tell the coaches, because I think that's what it is. I don't need you in there if you're fucking 50%. I'm sorry, I don't. Go in for some plays or be more rotational then. Tell the coach I'm fucking winded. Whatever the problem is. But, bro, you can't go in there getting killed, right? Just that's how I saw it. So everybody has to take accountability and fucking step up. This is week 2. Correct your fucking mistakes. And don't do that shit again, right? Until the next loss. And then we fucking correct those mistakes. But right now, live and learn. Week 1's over. 16 games to go. On to Miami.
Yeah, just like John comes in here and says, let's rip through the next 6 games, just like after the Hail Murray. I agree 100%. But you know what? That's the end of that. We're gonna put that bad boy to bed. We're not gonna think about it ever again. And we're going to get into our preview for this week's game. And I want to start with the injury reports that came out. For the Bills, wide receiver Davis and DT Star are both questionable. I also saw the one sneak in there today. Obata had a calf strain. Davis and Obata were limited today. Star was a full go today, so I'm guessing he's going to play.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
But seeing Obata pop up on the injury report kind of tells me maybe he won't go, because they're going to have somebody that they enact, because they have to sit 1 of 5. Davis is concerning because it's the same type of injury he had last year in that Ravens game, and then he didn't look good in the Chiefs game. So I wonder if he's going to go.
Was it ankle, I'm guessing then?
Yeah.
That's what it was. And where did he injured in practice?
No, he injured it in the game.
Did he?
And
Okay,
again,
I didn't see
that
that.
4th and 8 play.
Oh, that's where
he got rolled up, and you saw him like limping off the field after it. And he
I
came
thought
back
he hurt
and
his
played.
stomach. The way, yeah, I thought it was his stomach because the way he bent over, like trying to get the ball. But see, Josh got him hurt then. If you, I hate to say it, but he tried to catch it, man. But that was a bad throw, bro. That was you can't make that throw.
Yeah, I like this one. It says maybe Boogie will step up if Obata can't go. Because Boogie was deactivated last week. If Obata's if he's dinged up at all, sit him down. We have 11-man rotation.
No, yeah, I agree. I think Boogie can do his job. Like I think Boogie could step in for Obata and play just fine. One thing I do want to mention, and I said it I think last week, and I got a lot of people like hating on me, was the touchdown Jesus Jake Kumaro. I did not see him week 1, and I know you guys are high on him. And listen, I'm not saying he's bad, but for a 6'4" receiver in the red zone, he should be used. Correct? Right. We were terrible in the red zone. Right? He would have been perfect candidate for those red zone plays. That's another thing I want to talk about real quick. I know we're going back to that game. I said I wouldn't, but the red zone plays were god awful. Every pass we did, except for the one to Gabe Davis, was not in the end zone. I don't remember. Everything was like, at the 5-yard line, 4 when we should have been like that one play to Devin Singletary when we needed a touchdown. Why were you doing that? Much rather you go for the end zone right there. Now, Jake Kumaro, who is 6'4", should be in that red zone because he's the guy where you can throw it up high in the corner, perfect candidate. Why is he not in there? For everybody hyping him, and they're saying how great of a practice training camp he had, or is he? I mean, shit. Even Duke Williams helped us out in the Tennessee game. So if we're gonna keep him on the roster, he needs to play, not just special teams. I'm sorry, 6'4", supposedly catches everything. Get him in the game.
That goes back to Daboll. For whatever reason, they didn't get him in. I don't know why. We kept running this empty set with our running back as one of the receivers. Okay, we don't have Thurman Thomas. We don't have LT. We don't have Marshall Faulk. We don't have Christian McCaffrey. Why the hell is our running back lining up as a wide receiver?
Because he did that with our fullback, and it used to drive me fucking insane when he used to have what's his name, the fullback we had, DeMarco, go out as receiver. You remember that? I know Bills fans remember that, bro. I would go absolutely fucking bonkers because I get he's in there to block, fine, if that's what he's in there for, but to line him up on as a receiver, what are you doing, man? Like, what the fuck are you doing? He's our best other option. Like, that's shitting all over whoever's on the sideline as a receiver. Jake Kumaro, like, come on, man. You're going to put Singletary out the receiver. Why? He's 5'7". He's so small, man. Like, come on, man. He's not a receiver. He's a running back. You know what I mean? Or fine, put Breida in then if that's what you're going to do. Let Breida go out because he's a speedster. If that's what you're going to do. Maybe he does a hook or slant, whatever. But Singletary on the out, I don't get that, man. Like, those kind of plays, that's exactly what you're saying. Why? What are you doing?
John comes in here and says Singletary was out wide, so it made it easier for Josh to read the defense depending on who was guarding. Here's the defense. They were rushing 4, dropping 8 in zone. We didn't need to read the defense. We knew what they were doing, and we never made adjustments. However, let's get off of that and back into the preview for the Dolphins injury report. Raekwon Davis was moved to IR, their big nose tackle, and Will Fuller has a personal issue and won't be playing this week.
That's weird, right? That's something's going on there because they just got him back, and what can be such a personal issue? Unless it's a death. I believe I'm not going to say that.
I believe there was a death in the family. There was a death in the family that came out a couple weeks ago. And last week he was out because he was suspended, but he's been away from the team. And that's pretty much all I know. I've just caught Marcel Louis Jacques, tweets out there now that he's
Okay.
the beat reporter. So I still follow Marcel, and just to kind of get an idea what's going on. But
I just found that out that he went over there. By the way,
Yeah.
I just found that out. I didn't even know. So like 3 days ago, I'm like, what are you doing over there?
A question came in here asked, did Davis practice? Davis practiced all week in a limited role. He was never full. That's my concern with Gabe Davis. I am not sure, knowing that he was only limited all week, if he's going to be good to go this week. McDermott came out and was talking again during his presser, talking about early in the season with guys who have injuries, he likes to be cautious. Chances are Davis might be sat down.
Well, yeah. I mean, today's Friday. I mean, that's it. Today was final practice day. He may not play. But okay. So Jay Kumro, your next man up, right? I would assume. So time for him to show what he's been doing in training camp.
Isaiah,
yeah, but I think, but maybe not though. Maybe his shoulder thing, maybe they don't want him doing as much plays. I think Kumaro might get used a little bit more than you think if Davis is out. You know what I mean?
Could we see an activation of one of the practice show calls up and Isaiah Hodgins if we need an extra receiver?
It's possible, but
or Tanner Gentry.
I think they trust Kumaro more, man. I don't.
I'm saying just bringing another guy up for.
We have an offensive lineman. I forget his name. He's a veteran. I'd much rather him get called up from. Yeah,
Douglas.
Exactly, Douglas. I'd much rather him get called up. You know what I mean? Because from the way this is looking, we may wind up shifting our offensive line during this season, man. Like this starting line may not be the same by week 3, 4, 5. We'll see. I know McDermott seemed pissed about a lot of stuff, by the way, in that press conference. He didn't directly call Table out, but he kind of did. And the offensive line, he kind of, everybody has to do their job. It's them, bro. That was bad.
Yeah. I like this one. Vita Vega came in and said all the best to Fuller, with what's going on with him. He was not looking forward to the combination of Waddle and Fuller. Neither was I. That speed would be problems for the Bills. So the fact that, that's one less weapon that they have, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
No doubt.
There's things bigger than football out there. And, whatever he's dealing with is bigger than football. And, from a human side, all the prayers to him. And I hope whatever he's going through works out.
Yeah.
But, but that kind of covers where we're at with our injury report. Davis limited, Star was full go today. So chances are he's going to play. And then Obata popped up on the injury report as limited with a calf. So my guess is Davis and Obata are probably really game time decisions. With Star back.
Mm-hmm. That's good. We need Star back. We do need Star back.
We do, because I don't know how much you watched of the Patriots Dolphins game, but they ran a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of double tights, and it was almost like the setup was almost like a triple option setup. It was weird, their offense was funky.
I saw a little. I saw a little. I kind of feel like Tua hasn't. Seems the same to me, man. Tua, I don't know. To me, man, he's like a game manager, man, and I just don't see him make it big. He's not like a big play guy. I just don't see it. If you look at that game, it's kind of like our game, right? So Miami should have lost, right? The Patriots had better stats. They had. I think they had time possession. Everything was favoring them, but the turnovers, Miami got big turnovers when they needed it. It wasn't like they were lighting it up, on the scoreboard. I actually predicted that game. I think 19-16 for the Patriots, or no, for the Dolphins. I'm sorry, for the Dolphins, and I was kind of close. So I knew that game was going to come down to that, but Patriots should have won that game. So as far as us playing Miami, I don't fear Miami, man. I feel like their offensive line is very suspect. They got a lot of guys in different positions that are new. Their centers, like I think first time at center. Their offensive line was shaky. Tua looked the same, man. I didn't see any like that he got any better. I still feel like he's nervous throwing the ball downfield. He still makes a lot of bonehead decisions. He doesn't run as much as you would think he would. For a scrambling quarterback in college, he just doesn't do that so far in the NFL. So I'm just not I'm just not. I think we're gonna play the same defense we did in week 16, week 17 versus them, and I think it's gonna be a blowout, man. I do. I think we're pissed, and I just don't think the Dolphins are very good. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again.
You did that last week too.
No,
that didn't work out.
I'm doing it again.
So going back to the Tua thing, I agree with John here. We need to disguise stuff because the stats show, and I watched a few over the last couple of days. I talked about it. If you can get Tua off of his first read, his completion percentage and everything drops dramatically. Right. It comes down. He struggles moving from read 1 to read 2. And that's when he makes the boneheaded, let me try to throw it out of bounds and I throw it to the guy,
Right.
So, we just need to come in, have the same type of defense of, pressure we had last week. Ben got the ball out in 2.3 seconds last week. Tua doesn't get the ball out that quick.
Nope.
So I would like, nope. I'm interested to see how they're going to, adjust to our defensive fronts, knowing that we now have built a better defensive front. Like Ed Oliver was wreaking havoc until they went to that quick pass, and then he just couldn't get there fast enough. Same with our DNs. Right. I think they're going to try to run the ball and use their tight ends. That's what I'm expecting.
For sure.
Very much a Patriots type game.
100%. I just thought, like I said, but I think we're going to be ready for that. That's what they did last season. It's the same thing. I don't think the running backs are that good. I think our defense is going to be prepared for that. The little dinking and dunking they do, the little screen passes, I think. Listen, Frazier's a hell of a coach, man. A hell of a coordinator. I don't think he's going to let Tua beat him. You get what I'm saying? Like, he game plans very well. We should have beat Pittsburgh. Let's put it that way. Let's be real here. We should have won that game. Even if it would have been close, like your score prediction, that's probably what the game should have been if we didn't have the turnovers, if we were smarter on the play calling. Because we beat him on all phases of both sides of the ball. We just fucked up on the turnovers, man.
Mm-hmm. Wayne comes in here and talks about he hopes Josh stays calm in the pocket. You know what? I don't want to see Josh in the pocket. I think that was part of the problem last week. We never got Josh outside of the pocket to where he can move guys and have that scramble drill with our receivers that were so good last year. They kept Josh in the pocket the entire day and just collapsed the pocket around him.
Yeah, that was weird because Josh is really good. I think he's probably one of the best at throwing on the run. Like, he's really good. Like, I would say the best. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see that last week. I kind of felt like he was just either staying too long in the pocket or they were doing like the stupid quarterback draw plays for him right up the middle, getting him killed, man. Like, they can't, bro, that defense of Pittsburgh, that line was no joke. I don't know why everything was in the middle. Like, he should have been rolling out, like, extend the plays with his legs. And I just, once again, man, it just didn't happen. It was like flat. I think Josh, even his like, he just felt flat to me. Maybe he, like I told you, I don't think he ever got in that rhythm, man. I feel like he was just flat the whole game, man. He threw for 51 times. You would think he would eventually get in a rhythm, but I just felt like it wasn't there early on, man. And Dable didn't help with that. But go ahead. Back to the Miami Dolphins. I don't keep going back to that fucking Pittsburgh game.
Well, I mean, you're gonna talk a little bit about it as we're looking at what we're expecting to be better this week than we had last week. So I would like to see Josh get into the rhythm early. Miami isn't a big zone team. They run a lot of man and they like to blitz. I heard I can't remember. I think it was Dudley Durong, who is the Dolphins one of Dolphins content creators, and I think it was him that was talking about it. And he said the way that, or maybe it was Kevin Gerard with Buffalo Fanatics. He's Kevin, the Dolphin fan. I mean, maybe it was him who was saying it, and he was talking about how the Dolphins are built to beat the Patriots. Keep the guy in the pocket, play man to man, get to him. Where Josh isn't that type of quarterback. Josh, what makes Josh so much better against the Dolphins than anybody, than any of the other AFC East quarterbacks, is Josh can escape, and the guy cover forever.
Right.
And that's always been the problem. The Dolphins built up the secondary that was supposed to be, for Tom Brady, basically the pocket guy, get to him, tackle, be sticky. And now all of a sudden they have this big tall guy running around that can make every throw. He's like, and we're just not built for that.
Right.
And
yeah.
I think
Josh's own. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think we're going to get back to that. I really do. I have a feeling we're going to see more Josh moving around. I have a feeling we're going to see more of those crossing routes that we didn't see last week. And if they do move into a zone, which doesn't really fit their style of play, if they do move into a zone, hopefully Moss and Singletary will both be active, and we can just pound the rock.
Yeah, I think Singletary is going to be active. No doubt. I thought Singletary had a nice little game there. Now, mind you, he had some big chunk plays at the end because he wasn't so hot in the beginning, but that was really blocking. But he still looked pretty damn good on those chunk plays, man. Like, that dude can make you miss. I don't care. If you're in a phone booth, he's going to make you miss, the first guy. So I think Singletary is going to be key to this game because, man, you got to run some, right? You have to open up the play action pass because, listen, you can't have the team just sitting back playing for the pass the whole game. I think Pittsburgh kind of did that for the first 3 quarters, right? Like, they knew we weren't going to run, and we didn't really. It was like 5 receiver sets, Singletary on the outside. So play action passes were out the door. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. So I think this game here, especially, you got to remember, we're down in Miami. Hot, humid. Players are going to get tired, man. You're going to see a lot of our defensive players rotation. A lot, I think, this game. Mario Addison, Jerry Hughes. Going to see a lot of rotations, and I think that's what makes us a better team as well this season. We have a lot of young guys. We have a big room, even with Obata out, that can rotate in that sun. Like, we're going to have a lot of guys coming in fresh, and that's the key, man. I really believe that. So I think Singletary is going to be used a little bit more in this game than you think. I think Singletary is going to have at least 75 to 100 yards as well, and another solid game, man. I truly believe that.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you on that. I do think Singletary is going to have a solid game. But I do want to get to this comment. Jose comes in and says, Ken Dorsey is the new pass coordinator this year.
Yes.
Tommy, I know you don't think that mattered, but if it's true, what does it say about Ken Dorsey in this offense? It looked different.
Okay. Yeah. So, once again, it still comes down to Brian Dable's decision. We don't know that. Okay. Yes, he's involved. It doesn't mean he's making the decision at the end, right? Especially, there's no way you're telling me that Ken Dorsey's the one that made those calls of 4th and 1, the flea flicker. I don't believe that. There's no way, because first of all, there's no way McDermott would allow that. Not right away. I don't believe that. Maybe during the season, Dorsey will get maybe more involved, but that tight of a game, I don't believe that Ken Dorsey was making those calls at that time. I just can't believe it. And by the way, I think the way that Dable coached this one, he may be here another year if he continues to show what he's doing week 1, if he's trying to get a head coaching job. So we'll see. But I think you'll like Ken Dorsey when he's our OC. That's the answer.
Yeah. I think John comes in and makes a great point here. The Dolphins had 38 fewer quarterback hits last year than the Steelers. Right. We're not we won't face an elite D line like we did in week 1 every week. Not everybody has, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and Melvin Ingram. And don't forget, Ingram was an elite a rusher
dude.
for the Chargers before he got hurt.
Yes.
You know, and he's dealt with, you know, now he looks healthy again. Like
No,
they
looked
had
good.
an elite,
That
they
was a
had an
great pickup.
elite game plan. Yeah, and they had an elite game plan and they executed it. So I do agree with John here that, you know, it's going to be different. We're not going to see that elite defensive, you know, D line every week. So the O line gives Josh a little bit of time. He'll find somebody.
Right. But I will say this: we got Washington who brings it. They have a hell of a defense.
Sometimes
so when that, I like their front too, man.
I watched that game last night. I watched that game last night against the Giants, and there were times that they looked dominant. You know, I instantly looked at Jonathan Allen and I was like, him versus Feliciano, that's not a good matchup. But, you know, that Giants line is garbage. And for the majority of the game, they held them at bay. Like, the Giants should have won that game last night.
No, they should have, but they didn't. I don't know. I'm just saying, my point is, our offensive line has to, it better fix whatever need, because there is, listen, I know we'll beat Washington. I will predict that, but they can't come out like they did week 1. Not against any team, but I'm just saying, like there's certain games that they're going to really see a good front. They cannot play like that. Yeah.
No, I you know, I don't disagree. So at this time, I'm going to talk about the over-under. You know, our new weekly one. One of our sponsors this year is my book AG. If you use the promo code HTS, you will get double up to $1,000 of your first deposit. The over/under this week is 47.5. So I'm not going to go into the point spread because I want to do that at the end, and I'll get your take. But over/under, do you think it's going to be over/under 47.5 points?
Over.
Combined. You think it's going to be over?
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll get to the prediction and all that. I wanted to make sure we took the time to talk about that, you know, as we're, you know, about the midpoint of our preview. So what I want to talk to you about next is I want to get your take. What are you expecting to see from the Bills defense this week versus the Miami's offense?
I think, like one of the guys said earlier, I think we're gonna play that same style we played week 17, which is kind of a zone defense. We're gonna confuse him with a lot of blitzes, a lot of. I feel like we're gonna blitz heavy at times, but we're also gonna fall back on zone. We're just gonna do a lot of shifting around on defense. I think we're gonna confuse them. I don't think we're gonna let them dink and dunk on us. The only thing that worries me a little bit is the tight ends getting involved. We haven't been very good against Gesicki. We'll see how that goes, but I'm not really concerned about to a deep ball. Like I know they were talking about earlier this week about him throwing the ball deeper. Listen, if they're talking about it, that means he hasn't done it. He's not good at it. I don't see it happening. If he throws it deep on us, I think we're going to pick him off. I feel like good defensive coordinators have kind of messed with Tua's head, just like New England. Bill Belichick wasn't going to play that game with him. And he had really no answer. It was because of their turnovers. That's the only reason they won. It wasn't because of their offense. So I feel like we will control that side of the ball. I think our defense they're veterans. I think our Frazier's a hell of a coach. And by the way, the Dolphins have 2 split offensive coordinators. So they don't even have a primary OC. They split the call. So how's that going to work out for them? I don't think too good, man. I just don't. They don't have Fitzmagic back there just throwing the ball down. You know what I mean? Like taking chances, giving his receivers a chance at the ball. Like Tua's not doing that. You know who Tua kind of reminds me of? Tyrod Taylor, like in his second season with us. Not his first, because first I thought Tyrod threw it deep. He gave our receivers a chance. When Tyrod played safe football, when we were like, what's going on here? He's doing everything 4 yards, 3 yards, check downs, like nothing. He wasn't taking any more chances for some reason. And that's how I feel like Tua plays. I'm not worried about Tua. I'm just not. And their running game, And their offensive line, man, is shaky. Very shaky. So I feel like we'll get to them, and I feel like we'll make them make some mistakes.
So who's your X factor on defense this week?
Gregory Rousseau.
Gregory Rousseau going back home.
Going back home. I think you're going to see him a lot more in the rotation because you got to remember, like I said, it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. I think they're going to be rotating a lot more. Rousseau is a lot younger than these guys. I thought Rousseau, by the way, even though he didn't get a sack, I thought he played very well. From what I saw, he made some really good tackles. He tried to strip the ball a few times on his tackles. Yeah, man, I like what I saw from him. So I expect him to have a pretty good game. I expect him to get a sack.
I loved what I saw out of Rousseau last week. He set the edge. There wasn't a lot of bouncing out. You didn't see guys getting outside because he set the edge and then he came back, crashed back down, which is what you're supposed to do, especially when you're as big and as long as he is. My X factor this week for defense is Tremaine Edmonds. I saw what we've been looking for out of Tremaine last week. He was an animal. He was everywhere last week. And he wasn't just dragging people down. He was laying the lumber on people.
He looked good. He did look.
Yeah.
You know what I would like to see more though with Tremaine, and they haven't really done it much. I mean, we don't do it often actually. Is blitz our linebackers? I would love to see him have the opportunity to blitz more. Because if you remember, like since Frazier's been here, like for instance, Rex Ryan blitzed linebackers a lot. Zoe had his best career season when Rex Ryan was the defensive coach pretty much. He blitzed the hell out of Zoe. We had a really good season that, as far as defense goes, sacks-wise. I think we were up there, top 5 that year. But I don't see like our linebackers blitzing much. But when they do a great job. Like, bro, Tremaine Edmonds is a beast, bro. Like, I would be sending him a lot more than they do. They barely ever send him on blitzes. So I kind of hope they do go moving forward, but we'll see. But yeah, he played great last week.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they ever will because they want that big, long guy in the middle. When the Bills do blitz, we usually send safeties and corners. And if we're going to blitz a linebacker, usually we bring in someone like Klein,
right.
Or Milano. Very rarely does Tremaine actually blitz, and a lot of it has to do with his length. Josh said it, a lot over the summer during training camp. He said with Tremaine in the middle, it's hard to throw over the middle because he's so long. He takes away passing lanes.
But did you see the blitz?
I don't know if we'll ever see that.
But I'm telling you, when he blitzes, he causes havoc. If you saw the Steelers game, he actually did have a blitz on the outside. Now, he didn't get to Ben, but he was so close because, like you said, he's tall. He jumped up and batted the ball down. He almost intercepted it. He had no chance to make that pass because Tremaine's too big, too long. He wasn't even close to Ben. He was like 5 yards away, but he was so tall. He got there and hit the swat of the ball down. So I'm telling you, man, when Tremaine goes in for a blitz, he usually causes havoc. He makes the quarterback work. So
we just don't send them very often.
We just don't do it. Yeah. I would like to see it.
Jose came in here and says Tua stats if he holds the ball drops 40%. If he throws within 2.8 seconds, he's about average because they don't have a backup. So, what we need to do is we need to take away his number one option and make him go to number 2. And, have Oliver do what he was doing last week because Oliver was crashing the pocket, pushing it back, and then have Hughes and Epinesa and Addison and Rousseau, crumble. He's not Big Ben. He's not gonna, he's not that savvy vet who's gonna know where to go with the ball as the pocket's starting to collapse. So I'm really looking forward to see what our D line does against Miami this week.
Right. I think they'll do very well. I don't like their offensive line at all. I just don't.
So offense of X factor. Who's your offensive X factor this week?
I'm going to say Singletary. Like I said earlier, I think Singletary will be used a little bit more than he was last week. He should be, and he looked good. He looked good when he was given the opportunity. He actually looked okay. And if you go back to that game, we used him a little early on, and he got some decent chunk little plays, and then we just kind of stopped and we ran him once in a blue moon, and then we used him more in the fourth. But I thought he played very well. And in this heat, he's from South Florida. He played for FAU. Like he is. It's not like this is a northern guy not used to those temperatures. He is built for that. Like this is a perfect game to get Singletary more involved, and I think he will. So yeah, Singletary will be my X factor in this game.
So for those that are in the chat, give me your offense and your defensive X factors this week. My offensive X factor, I'm gonna say Beasley. Beasley on Nick Needham, who's a slot guy, is a matchup that I love. I have a feeling that Jones and Howard are going to be lined up on Diggs and Sanders, so it's gonna be the Beasley show. I have a feeling, and then they're gonna have to bring somebody down to help. And when they do, that's when I think Diggs or Sanders gets open. And then maybe whoever wide receiver 4 is, whether it's McKenzie or it's Kumaro or whoever they decide wide receiver 4 is going to be this week. I have a feeling it's going to be Beasley, and that person is going to be the ones that really get the bulk of the look. Because, Diggs is going to get his targets, at the end of the day. But when Josh needs that quick 4, 5, 6 yards, he didn't look for Beasley last week. He said it in his presser. I was pushing downfield. I didn't take what they were giving me. And I think Beasley, he can hit all day long. And they're going to man him up with Nick Needham. Beasley ate his lunch last 2 times we played him. So
right.
That's my X factor is Beasley.
No, that's a great X factor. you can't go wrong with getting the ball to Beasley, man. And that dude is he will get open. Like that dude. Like very rare does Beasley just have a shitty game where he cannot beat his defender. That dude is still to me probably the best slot receiver in the game. Josh definitely didn't look for him. He looked for him a few times and he underthrew him on that 1 3rd down, which was an god awful pass. I don't know what he was doing there. So, like side-armed it short to skip the ground. Josh was pissed at himself as well. Like you notice Josh struggles on those easy, since he's come here, those easy side, passes to the side. He doesn't throw him in motion, where it gives the receiver, while he's running, you know what I mean? The ball's usually down or way to the back or up, where the receiver or the running back has a tough time to make a play because they're trying to get the ball. You know what I mean? Josh has always struggled with that. I was hoping he needs it. That's one part of Josh's game. I hope he needs to, I think, fix. Those short passes. He has a tough time with those, man.
He tries to get the ball out so fast that he doesn't set himself, and he just tries to wing it out
or something.
Yeah. Almost like a shortstop. That's what he's trying to do. Take the snap, turn, and get it out. And he doesn't plant his feet. And a lot of what the critics were talking about Josh is when he came out was his base, and that's why he was inaccurate and blah 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 blah. But if you look at those quick passes, it's because his base is just all wonky, and he's just trying to quickly grab it and throw it.
Right. Well, listen, I believe in Josh, man. Josh is every little issue he's had, he's sought out help for. He's corrected. You know what I mean? So he'll correct. I'm just nitpicking at this point, but he'll fix that. I believe, but it still seems like that's a issue for him. That he's still probably working on. No.
So here's another one that came in from Jose that says, should he be worried about Singletary and his 2 fumbles last week? Granted, one of them was out of bounds, but he put the ball on the turf twice.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. He's prime. Listen, Singletary, he's not known. It's not like he's been this big fumble guy since he's come, since we drafted him. Never had that issue. So every player fumbles here and there. I felt like the one at the end there when it went out of bounds, that was just a fluke kind of thing. Maybe he just wasn't, he was looking more of the end zone or trying to do a move, but it didn't, that part, that's fine. Running wise, he doesn't really fumble much. Very rare, honestly, he doesn't. I wouldn't be worried about Singletary fumbling. That's never been a problem.
My bigger concern with Singletary is when we throw him the ball. his drop rate is crazy. He dropped another one last week. It just hit him in the hands and it dropped it.
Well, remember, he wasn't really a pass catcher out of college either.
No,
they didn't use him.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, if we're gonna bash on Knox about dropping balls, we need to hold the other ones accountable too. Those are ones that should have been.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
Same with Beasley, same with Diggs. They'll correct it and they'll move on. Singletary just tends to drop like big ones where he has open field.
I mean, Sanders had a huge drop, and he's a vet, and that guy catches everything. So I think I was trying to tell you. I felt like last week everybody was flat. I mean, really, go back and look at all the plays. Everybody kind of didn't do something right or made a mistake, or almost everybody, almost on the offense, right? Sanders with the drop, like that was a big pass, man. Should have had that. It was right there. Dropped it. Right, I think Beasley even had a drop, or should have called the ball and he didn't. Right,
Beasley had two.
So there you
Diggs
go.
had two. Sanders had one. Singletary had one, and then there was one more because we had 7 drops last week.
Right, unacceptable. Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now Knox, I'll give him credit. Knox actually played okay. We didn't really go back to him much. Like I was like, yes, and he made a huge third down play. Like I was like, yes, okay, great. And then we didn't go back to him for like, I don't know, 20 plays later, we finally throw the ball back to him. Like, come on, man. Like, use this guy a little bit more, man. Like, he's our tight end. We barely use tight ends, man. That's just not in our, I don't know. I felt like they were going to get him involved more. He's a great, I think if he's catching the ball, he's a great target. He's a great target.
No, especially early because most of Knox's work came early. Where they got him the ball quick, and he was sure-handed. There was no bobbles. I mean, we're talking about 7 drop passes, and Knox wasn't one of them. That's
not
it's
amazing.
Not usually what we're talking about. So it was a bad week last week. We can just chalk it up. Maybe they were reading their own press clippings and thought if they showed up they win. They got humbled. Now it's time. Now it's time to go work.
That's right. That's right. Now there's no excuses now.
Right. All right. So that covers my last topic here that I had. So I guess the last thing we're going to go into is more about the predictions. The spread is -3.5. What's your score prediction?
Here we go. You're going to hate me. 37-19 Buffalo in a rout.
37-19. Wow. Okay. I
mean, I don't think that's crazy. We beat them 52 to what was the score last season, and they got pretty much the same team. No Fuller. Their offensive line's gotten worse to me. Tua looks the exact same, right? They got one more receiver who's fast, but he doesn't really throw the ball deep to give that guy a chance to make a big play. And their running backs don't scare me. I think 37-19 is fair.
And I think it's going to end up 31-24, and I think they score that last one in garbage time. I think the Bills are going to come out. I believe it's going to happen just like it did in Week 17. It's going to be, the first series is going to be like getting the feel out, Josh getting in groove, and then by second series we're just going to start moving, and then they're not going to stop us. Josh is going to get in that rhythm. They're going to get him in the rhythm, and he's going to figure it out. And he's going to start feeding Beasley, and then he's going to feed Diggs, and he's going to feed Sanders, and then we're going to throw in Singletary, and he's going to bust a couple. And I really do. I think it's going to be a 31-24, and I think it's going to be 31-17 late in the fourth, and they score a garbage time touchdown.
Okay. What I want to see from this game, I'm telling you, right? I hate to keep going back to it, and I know it's preseason, but I love for as vanilla as it was, I absolutely love the play calling because Allen was so calm getting the ball out in a quick matter of time, getting the receiver. Everybody caught it. Remember that? Everybody had a piece of the pie, and it was 2, 3 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, and then he went on his 9th pass, 10th pass, 30 yards to Gabe Davis. It was just it was so perfect perfectly played. Like I said, I get it's preseason, but why not come out with that kind of tempo against the Dolphins? Let him get in that groove. I don't need to listen. You don't need him coming out throwing a 40-yard bomb down the field right away or flea flicker. Get him in that groove right away. Get him going like the Cole Beasley. Get him going on a 4-yard slant pass, 6-yard slant. Get a first down. Just move the ball slowly, surely. Before you know it, the Dolphins are playing tight man coverage, and he's going to beat them deep. That's how we did against. That's what I want to see. And then eventually we're going to use Singletary more. Then you got the play action going, and that's where Buffalo thrives, man. But let's get Josh in a rhythm, man.
Well, let the game come to him. Don't go looking for don't go chasing the dragon. Take your underneath, get in the rhythm, and then as they come up to stop the underneath, you hit him over the top. I like Tony B comes in here and says 34-10 Bills. Josh throws for 307 with 3 touchdowns, 58 rushing yards and a TD. But not that he wants to get too specific. He's not going to say who they go to. He's just going to say that's what he does.
I mean, that sounds. I mean, I have Josh going for over 300. I have him a couple touchdowns. Like I think maybe 3 or 4. But yeah, same thing, man. Josh, I think Josh can have a nice game, man.
Jose comes in and says 34-13 Bills. So
like
I'm starting to see as the week goes on, people are starting to put the Steelers game, put that Steelers game in the back of their mind and say, listen, Steelers were good. Let's chalk it up to what it was. They were really good. They played a great game plan.
They came
to play like crap. We played like crap. They played perfect, and they still barely beat us.
That's right. That's right. They shouldn't have beaten us. It was a punt block for a touchdown that beat us. At the end of the day, and we deserve to lose if we play that way. And we did. Yep. We lost. So it is what it is. But like I said, let's say we win that game, right? Let's say we win that game. Are we mad at ourselves for playing that shitty? Like, do the players go back? Are they happy with their performance rather than lose the game and then really look at their performance and fix it? So maybe this was a good loss for them early on, week 1. Correct it. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you win those close games, you don't really fix the problem. You don't really go hardcore, fix the problems, really dive deep into what happened, what went wrong. Because you won. Yeah. We lost. Trust me. They dove deep this week in practice. Not just the players, the coaches. They all had to look at themselves in the mirror and see what they did wrong and correct it. Rather than just take the win, and not fix the issues. So good that we got that over with.
I know Mike Robb went on TV and was talking about that, and he's like, I remember being in the locker room, and if we won, we don't normally fix what was going on. He said the fact that the Bills lost, that's gonna ring in their heads. We have to fix this. If the Bills would have pulled that one out, chances are they would have chalked it up to we were sloppy, but they're not really diving into what they did wrong.
Right. Exactly my point. My point. So,
and Mike Robb was in those locker rooms. He knows.
Right. Hey, bro, just like that Arizona game, sometimes you need a wake up call, man. And the Arizona game, after that, it wasn't just about the stupid Hail Murray play. It was really the total defense. We gave up a lot of points, right? We were up. We should have won that game. The defense was bad overall. And after that game, I thought our defense played very well moving forward. Very well. Like the points per game dropped tremendously. Like I thought going into the playoffs, man, this is like last year's defense almost. Like we are getting there, but then the Colts corrected us. But yeah, dude. But then the Ravens, look at that, how we played the Ravens. That's the defense that we're going to be bringing against you. Like I love that. That's the defense, man. I want to see. That's us, man. And now we're even shit, man. That's what I tell you. Going to Miami in this heat, this humidity, boy, we're so that's why we went and loaded up on the edge. This is exactly why games like this coming up, so we can rotate the veteran players like Hughes and Addison, man. Because imagine if Hughes and Addison had to play this game, get most of the snap count, they'd be exhausted. They probably wouldn't make it out of the fourth quarter. So perfect, man. I love what they did on the edge by gaining these additions.
Yep. Elliot Eisler comes in. How you doing, Elliot? Glad you can make it. Kind of like TLC taught us, don't go chasing waterfalls. Maybe Josh should listen to that before the game.
Right. No, you know what song they should all be listening to? Every single player. Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. That song gets me so hyped, bro.
Right.
I love Phil Collins.
We don't want Josh to get hyped though. We need Josh to calm. Like he was
but
so
that's such
hyped.
a calm, but that is a calm song. And so the drums kick in. And that's fine, man. That's how I want to see Josh playing from the first quarter. So the Phil Collins song is calm. Josh is just, dinking and dunking 4 or 5. And then the drums come on and then Josh is going deep.
Right?
That's what I want to see.
Jose comes in here and says, let's go Buffalo. The cream always rises to the top. Yes, it does. We will find out what the Bills are made of, this week. At the end of the day, what happened last week's done and happened. Well, we're about to find out what the 2021 Bills look like this week.
We sure are, because if we lose, man, we're we are a lot of shit, man. Like that would not be good. Like, this is a game we need to win. I hate to say it, and I know it's early, but it's an AFC East opponent. Okay, it's another AFC game. You lose to another AFC, you go 0-2. It's not a great start. And losing to them, a Dolphins team that did not look good last week. They got the win, but they didn't look good. Would not be a good thing for the Buffalo Bills. So we need to come out and make a statement. This is a statement game. If there was any statement game that needs to be played, week 2, this is it. This is the mark in your territory on the AFC East. We need to win, and we need to win convincingly. That's how I see this game. It cannot be close, in my opinion. This has to be a game where we are the Kings, get out of the way, and this is what we do. That's how I see this game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like what Elliot says here. He quotes Josh and says, it's only a loss if you didn't learn something.
That's right. 100%. 100%. And that's true. By the way, that's true going back since Josh has been a rookie. I think even really, I'll say this, even the coaches have all seemed to learn from their mistakes each season since they've been here. So, listen, McDermott is still a young coach. Like, yes, he's been a coordinator, but head coach, this is his first time around, right? So this is really his 5th season with us. So really, he's kind of new to this, like playoffs. He's the man now. He's not just a coordinator. So he's also learning, right, from his mistakes, right? So we learned against the Texans, lost. What do? We came back. We got to the AFC Championship game. We learned from that. Now, what's the next step? The Super Bowl. Like, that's how I see this team going. But, man, those coaches they have to do a better job, because I will say this. The AFC Championship game, in my opinion, we were outcoached, and we lost because of that. Like, we were plain and simple outcoached, and I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers week 1, we were outcoached. And that's been an issue. We've on big moments, big games, Kansas City, even in the regular season, we've been outcoached.
Tennessee last year.
Just getting out right. Just those guys have to take a look in the mirror, correct it, because at the end of the day, that's their team. They are the coaches. That's what they do. They got to put these players in the right position to win a football game. And I felt like when on our biggest games, the coaches have let us down. But they've learned. They have learned. But week 1, that was a hard look in the mirror by McDermott and Dable, especially, and the special teams coordinator, who I don't know what the hell he was doing on that punt. Now, I know the players, maybe it wasn't in the coordinator. I don't know. But either way, I'm sure he had to do some drilling on whoever let the guy go by him. And then also the punter, by the way, who is not a very good punter. I got to tell you that right now. He's not a very good punter, but he's a great holder. Like, he's not. His punch, he's like a 40-yard punt guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if he's kicking in our end zone, expect the team to have the ball at like the 40 or 50, 45, something like that. Like, it's not going 65 yards like a Bojo kick. You know what I mean? Like, or he's shanking it. And that's a like, so we don't want those punts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so let's hope he corrects the getting blocked problem.
So,
I'd much rather him just throw the ball away at that point.
Yeah. Elliot Iser comes in and says his X factors are the Florida guys. Poyer, Group, Motor. I would throw Diggs in there as well because he does like all his training in down in South Florida. So those guys are his X factors.
Allen from California.
Allen spends a lot of time in California.
Well, you're right, and he trains. But he trains in Miami.
Different kind of
trains in Miami. No, but he trains in Miami in the offseason.
No, he trains in California.
I thought he went with Diggs and them in the offseason. And
2 years ago, they did the whole team got together in Florida. But this year he spent all the time in California.
He'll be fine. He's Josh Allen. He's young.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and then the last one that comes in here says our out coaching themselves, like faking a quarterback sneak and pitching the ball when your quarterback is 20 for 20 on quarterback sneaks. Yes.
By the way, By the way, that fourth down call where they threw the ball, that could have went so bad in so many ways. First of all, if he doesn't hit him and the ball bounces on the ground or whatever, it's a live football.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, it was poorly ran because Buffalo did that years ago. The same play. I don't know if you know that, Mikey. They did the same play. It was like a 2000 and something. But it was totally ran different. Like we faked the fullback. Yes, but it was ran way different. This one we had, I think, McKenzie doing a sweep, and it was just they didn't bite at all. Like if you're gonna do that, bunch up the middle, dive like you're going for it, and fine. But it was just poorly executed. Anyways, they sought it out right away, but it was just a dumb. Overall, you got a huge Josh Allen, 6'5". It's a 4th and 1. If we don't get it there, whatever. Like I'll take that all day over a fucking dumb play like that. You get what I mean? So hopefully they never, take that fucking play in your fucking book and rip that shit
burn it
to many burn it, rip it, whatever you got to do. Flush that shit down the toilet. I never want to see that ever again. Ever.
4th and 1, Josh up the middle, fullback up the middle, McKenzie sweep. Those are the only 3 plays I want to see.
That's it. Or a quick shit, bro. I would have even rather a quick pass like we did when we got Stephon Diggs a touchdown.
I don't want to throw him the ball.
I would have took that. I still would have took that.
Nope. 4th and 1.
Yeah, I get it.
I want Josh up the middle, fullback up the middle, McKenzie sweep. Those are your 3 plays on 4th down.
You're right.
But anyways, Tommy, tell everyone where they can find you. What you got going on?
Yep. Mafia Sports Report. I go live at 7:35. I know it's awkward time. 7:35 on Saturday Eastern time. AFC East Shakedown, but it's on the Mafia Sports Report. So I have other content guys from the Dolphins, from the Patriots. This week, unfortunately, I'll only have a Dolphins guy joining me. The Patriots guy have to do something. But it's a fun show. And then also I'm on Twitter, Tommy Talks Bills. And that's it.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at Apex006. You'll also find me in all of the Bills content creators chat rooms as I'm in there, talking. I can't get enough. I love the content. I can't get enough of it. So I go into everyone's and just talk Bills with everybody. But other than that, let's hope for a positive week 2. So when we recap next week, we'll be smiling and not all frustrated. Other than that, have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you guys soon. Go Bills.
Go Bills.